There was certainly a lot of emotion and fear that went into leaving. First you have to understand that being at the top financially, I was pretty well set, right? And when you're looking at making a move from the captive to the independent world, the over-ringing tone that comes to mind is, how long is it going to take to recover financially? And if I don't, I'm good, right? But I've also got a family, right? And I've built something for that family. And what if I make this jump and I don't succeed? What happens to them? And so there's, of course, a fear of failure. There's a fear of the unknown. When you're in the captive world, you've got the brand name, of course. You've got their systems, their accounting, a lot of things that you probably, that I certainly at the time took for granted. But you don't have that when you make the move. You have to figure that out. And so there's the fear of the unknown. There's the fear of the time it's going to take to recover. And then, there's just what you don't know that you don't know. And all those things are, things that were certainly going through my head when determining if I was going to make the move or not. It took a lot of courage to make that choice, and it was a choice. We had spent almost a year and a half looking to buy another independent book of business so that we had revenue coming in day one. And over that year, had called 400 independent agencies, found 26 that were interested, 5 that were viable, and really found out that every agency is very different, and none of those panned out. Really, there was a fork in the road. At that fork was commitment. What are you committed to? And on one hand, I knew what I had, right? And it wasn't going to grow. I had seen people that had been at the top 3-5 years ago that weren't at the top now, and that was because they couldn't adapt. And ultimately, it was a slow decline. On the other hand, I had my dreams, inspiration, being able to deliver on the commitments that I made to others that helped me get there, which has always been real important to me. And so I chose to follow my dreams, and I chose to be bold, and I chose to be courageous. And what that took was I was now in a position to where I was working 7 days a week for 2 years, gave up a lot of time with, my family and my son, and friends, and the things I wanted to do in the short term to build for the long term. The exciting part of that is we absolutely crushed it and built an independent agency. Actually built one of the fastest growing independent agencies in the United States. And that's not coming from me, that's coming from our carrier partners who have told us that. We've grown organically, meaning no acquisition, to 40 million in premium in 7 years. So I got to 40 million in premium growth within 7 years by a lot of trial and error. A lot of, you'd refer to it as blood, sweat, and tears. Certainly went through 4 different agency management systems, 3 different accounting firms, probably thousands of sales and marketing meetings. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to build the right team, how to hire, train, recruit. So what made it worthwhile to go through all this, or what made the 40 million in premium possible, in addition to everything I just mentioned, was in the captive world, you have one option. And that one option operates from the mindset of, what can you do for me? And so if you take all of your efforts and everything you put into that one option and you apply it to a model, an independent world where you have several options, these options now have the mindset of, what can we do for you? And that is a huge shift, a monumental shift in mindset, because they're looking for ways to grow your business, not the other way around. And so through those options, you have much higher close ratios. Your retention ratios are also much higher. because you're able to move people. You know, right now, your options to move people are you increase their deductibles or you remove coverages, or you try to fit a square peg into a round hole. The other big differentiating factor is footprint. You know, a lot of the captive carriers, if not all of them, you know, they think of, you know, your marketing territory is your backyard. You know, maybe it's your state, right? Let's go with it's your state, okay? But what happens if, you know, people have property or autos or friends or family in another state? Can you write that? More often it's no, right? In the independent world, that's not the case. You know, it's your footprint is as big as you want your footprint to be. And when you, again, apply that same work ethic that you have into your business where you only have one option to a business where you have multiple options and an unlimited footprint, the result is unlimited growth. It's really limited by your ambition.